The non-stop radio show.
Non-stop hip-hop.
The hottest underground hip-hop and R&B show on this side of the net.
Girl, I've been missing you. Have you been feeling it too? If you wanna still see it through, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Get you that house on the hill. Oh, get you that house on the hill. Baby, get you that house on the hill. Get you that house.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Once again, it's your boy Emilio Wegbar. And I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to tune into tonight's presentation as EJP Entertainment presents the Artist Spotlight. You already know what it is. We at the point of our show where we are joined by tonight's special guest. But before we do so, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you go follow us on IG at EJP_Entertainment to stay up to date with everything related to EJP. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Once again, it's your boy Emilio Wegbar, and I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to tune in to yet another presentation of this show. And if you haven't done so yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you go follow us on IG at EJP_Entertainment to stay up to date with everything related to EJP Entertainment. And for those of you that would like to check out the video content of this platform, then head on over to our YouTube channel at EJP Entertainment. Be sure to like and share the videos. And if you happen to like what we do, please consider subscribing to our channel. We would greatly appreciate that as well. But with that being said, folks, we are at the point of our show where we are now joined by tonight's special guest calling in on the line from out of North Carolina, ladies and gentlemen, by way of New Jersey. Please help me welcome to the show Will Francis, aka Dolla Bill. Dolla Bill, what's good, man? How's everything?
It's all good, man. It's all good in the neighborhood. I'm up here. I'm up in my house right now. I'm just chilling in my rehearsal room where I do recording and stuff and interviews, and it's a cool atmosphere, cool vibe. Definitely looking forward to another interview, and a lot going on. A lot going on with music and new music and stuff, and trying to do some promotion and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's busy, but busy's good.
Hey, you right about that one. Busy is definitely good. If you're not busy, you're not working hard enough. So definitely salute to you, man. So first question I would like to know, and I'm pretty sure a lot of my guests out there that's listening right now and I would like to know as well, what part of New Jersey are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from northern New Jersey.
Okay.
All right. I was born I wasn't born in New Jersey, but I wasn't born in my hometown. I was born in New Jersey. I was born in Pompton Plains, New Jersey. Okay, which is northern New Jersey. But I grew up in West Milford. Okay, and then as I got older, I moved to Clifton, New Jersey, which is near Newark. Okay. It's near the Meadowlands and all the highways and stuff like that. It's a pretty busy area there. And then 13 years ago, I moved to North Carolina. I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina. Okay. Now I live in Clayton, North Carolina.
Okay. So how do you like the transition going from north to south, man? How has that worked out for you, man? Do you enjoy being down south now, or do you still from time to time get homesick and miss Jersey and all that?
Oh, definitely, man. I definitely get homesick sometimes, I miss, because all my family and friends and people are still there. They're in New Jersey and New York.
Okay.
So right now I don't really have anybody close or related to me down here in North Carolina. And so I do get homesick. I love to do shout outs, you know what I mean, for where I grew up and from New Jersey and stuff. And I miss the pizza, the bagels, the diners, all that type of stuff, man.
Yeah, spoken like a true northern. They always say the way to find out where somebody's from when they go down south if they ask for pizza and bagels. 'Cause that's the one thing New York, New Jersey is known for. So I definitely do appreciate that, man. So like, what made you want to move to North Carolina? You know, you said you down there by yourself and everything. So what prompted that change?
Yeah, it was actually me and my wife moved down to North Carolina, and the reason why was because we wanted to find a more affordable way to become homeowners. You know, because everything is so expensive up north. Right. You know what I mean? And you don't get as much, you know, for the money as you do here in North Carolina. And the other reason was employment opportunities, because I was working in the healthcare industry at the time, you know. And then I became a corrections officer down here. That's my day job, you know. Okay.
Yeah, so I can understand that one. You know, up here, you know, New York, New Jersey, man, you know, you buying a house, you going to put your grandkids in debt. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you be paying off that house forever unless you, like, filthy rich. And I know none of us right now are filthy rich, man. So I definitely understand it. We actually considered ourselves moving to North Carolina at one point. It's still on the table, you know. It hasn't been taken out of the discussion yet. So, you know, what would be some good places you would recommend, you know, for somebody, you know, from the New York, New Jersey area moving down there? What would you recommend?
Well, food-wise, okay, we'd start with food, okay? Okay. Definitely, there's some really good barbecue. They're really big on barbecue down here, like chicken and pulled pork and, you know, mac and cheese, hush puppies, you know, sweet potato fries and, you know, collard greens and stuff like that. That's the kind of food that's really, like, popular food down here, you know? And there's a lot of good, like, barbecue places and that kind of thing. And there's also some very good, I haven't seen really any diners like we're used to, you know, up north, but they do have other, like, little boutique restaurants that specialize, like in breakfast, you know. Briggs is one of them. If anybody ever comes to Raleigh, you go to Briggs, you know, for like breakfast and that kind of thing. That's really a good place to go. And there's also the Metro Diner. They call it the Metro Diner. And it somewhat looks like a diner a little bit, but it's more like a restaurant, though, you know. But they have really great chicken and waffles, man. Nice. You know. And of course, if you want, like, if you want anything close to the diner experience, you're gonna have to go to, like, Denny's down here. They have Denny's. There's a lot of them down here. You know what I'm saying? And they're open like 24/7. You know. Yeah. And you also have IHOP too. Okay. You know, IHOP is down there too. Yeah. But if you're ever in Raleigh, like if you ever come down to Raleigh, definitely check out the downtown like eateries, because they have eateries, they have ale houses. They have a place called World of Beer. You know, it's just a beer place. That's it. You know, and they have like live music there and stuff like that. You know, and it's just like a beer sampling place where you can just go and chill with some friends or whatever, you know.
That sounds like something you would see like on the Food Network, you know, on some Guy Fieri kind of, you know, TV show or something like that. Because he got a show that he does called Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, where he go and explore, you know, various, you know, spots around the country that people wouldn't think of to stop and eat. You know, when it comes to like Denny's and IHOP and all that stuff, it's okay, you know, it's a franchise and everything like that. So it's not the same as, you know, those good old mom and pop, you know, diner places and those hole in the wall spots, man. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah, and if you want to get something close to a New York slice of pizza down here, you gotta go to a place called New York Pizza, and that's in Knightdale, North Carolina. It's in Midland Shopping Center. It's right off of Knightdale Boulevard. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just said they had the oversized pizza slices there, you know. Okay. And they're pretty good.
Cool. Okay. See, I thought you was gonna say something like, you know, recommend something like Pizza Hut or Domino's. I'm about to say, come on, man, how dare you? That's blasphemous. Nah, I'm just messing with you. Nah, it's all good, man.
But it's not a recommendation, you know.
Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. All right. Be still my beating heart. Okay, I got you. No doubt about that. All right, but with that being said, man, we definitely do appreciate the recommendations and all that good stuff, man. So getting into your music, I understand that you just really started getting into exploring your roots as a hip hop artist. Mostly what you grew up listening to was mainly like rock and those type of genres and stuff like that. What made you want to get into hip hop?
Actually, I got into hip hop when I came down to North Carolina when we first moved down here. I knew what hip hop was, and I've heard it before, and I've listened to it. But like when I came down to North Carolina, a lot of people were listening to it. A lot of people that I worked with were listening to it. I was hearing it in the cars. I was hearing it in vehicles. I was like hearing it in the neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I took in, like, I got into it because I was taking in like imagery or whatever, or stimulus from my environment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And some of the things I was seeing actually around me, right? Mm-hmm. I was hearing in these songs, in these hip hop songs and stuff like that. And I was putting two and two together, Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, that's what they're talking about, wow, and then I started, seeing some of the imagery and some of the different themes of the artwork and all type of stuff. And I kind of, as a hip hop rap artist, a lot of it was, at first, it was visual and it was also listening, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And what happened was I started, I was doing singer-songwriter material when I came here, right? Mm-hmm. And I was working on this one song, and I was working on the vocal and the lyrics and stuff like that, and I couldn't get the vocal right, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, I couldn't get the vocal right, so I got frustrated, and I just took the lyrics, right, from that song, mm-hmm. and I just started speaking them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just doing like a spoken word thing where I was like rhyming, doing the rhymes that were in the song and everything, right? And I just started doing that a couple times. And then I was like, just for the heck of it, you know what I mean? Let me record this over the instrumental track that I had, right? Mm-hmm. So I recorded it and I played it back. And I was like, you know what? Not for nothing, man, but this sounds like some of the music I've been listening to recently, which was the hip hop music. And I was like, you know what? This sounds better than the original. So I kind of stumbled into hip hop and rap kind of on accident.
I got you.
And that was, the beginning of that, and then of course, once I listened to it and kind of liked what I was hearing, I was like, I started speeding up the flow, you know what I mean? And the words and the rhyming and that kind of thing. I started speeding it up. I put a little more energy into it with my voice, and I recorded it and played it back. And I was like, all right, man, this works. And I was like, okay. And then I was working at the time too. And I had a friend that I worked with, and he would always come into work, and first thing in the morning, right, he'd start rhyming. And doing, spitting a couple bars or whatever, And one day he came up to me, and he spit a bar at me, spit a rhyme at me, right? And he was waiting for me to come back with something, Mm-hmm. And I did, I came back with a little rhyme and a little flow, Mm-hmm. And we started doing this back and forth like every day, like when we came to work and stuff like that. We would do this back and forth with each other, right? And then one day he came in, we did it, right? And he walked back to his department where he worked and stuff like that. And as he's walking back, he was like, Dolla Bill, what's up? Yeah. And that's how I got that name. That's how I got that name, actually. I got that from him, because he gave me that name because we started doing those like rap offs and, doing the freestyling and that kind of thing and rhyming off of each other. So that's how I got into it.
Okay. So, like, who are you listening to? Like, who are some of the hip-hop artists right now you find yourself listening to?
I've listened to Eminem, Dre, Fat Joe, Dime P. There's Kendrick Lamar. There's quite a few. Ice Cube, like from the 90s, like 2000s. Of course, I've listened to Tupac. I've listened to Excalibur, you know, and he has kind of a hard, deep type of voice and that type of thing, you know. So I've had quite a few influences, like since I got into the genre, you know what I mean. And a lot of West Coast too. So a lot of my songs have a West Coast kind of vibe to it, like the instrumentals and the sound and just the kind of vibe and the beat and stuff like that. Kind of have a West Coast influence because I am somewhat from the West Coast because I was in the military. Okay. And I was on the West Coast. I was in San Diego, California, and I picked up some of my influence from there too.
Okay. Cool. So I take it you like more so the traditional, well, not really traditional. I would say more so like the old school type of hip hop. You don't really listen to a lot of what's being played nowadays on the radio, do you?
So not a whole lot. No, not a whole lot. I'm, like I said, I'm influenced a lot by the 2000s. You know what I mean? Like the early, like 2000s, mid 2000s. That kind of hip hop, and I just kind of fell into that. You know what I'm saying? I kind of fell into that kind of sound or that type of style, if you want to call it a style, just based on the compositions I started doing. You know what I mean? And there is one song like right now that's current, that's being promoted like heavy, and that's House on the Hill. And that song, okay, is different than any of the other songs that I've done. And I think it does have a more of a modern hip hop or pop feel to it, because reason being is because I do like 3 different vocal styles in the song. I do a spoken word, I do a lo-fi rap in there, and also I sing, you know what I mean? I do like a melody in the chorus, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So, but with the, vocal styles, fusing that with hip hop, traditional hip hop, and also, the theme of, getting your queen or your girl or your wife or whoever, that house on the hill, you know what I mean? And impressing them, and doing things for them and stuff like that is kind of, I think, what makes that song stand out. It makes it more, I think, more popish or more like modern hip hop,
So now, are you responsible for all of your own production? Like, do you produce and make all of your beats and stuff for you, or do you work with somebody else that help you put, all your songs and stuff together?
No, I produce. I write, record, and produce my own music right now.
Okay.
But however, the beats that I have are leased. They're leased. They're under a lease agreement.
Okay.
And contract type of thing. Yeah.
Now let me ask you, and this is something. Oh, go ahead. My fault. I didn't know I cut you off before.
No, I was just saying. That the lease, that the instrumentals are leased. And I don't compose my own beats.
Okay. Now, what I was going to ask you, and this is something that, is very interesting to me, because I know there's a lot of artists that go the route of leasing beats. Like, how do you really feel about that? Because, I understand, if I'm correct or not, I understand that leasing beats, when people do that, the beat that they're using can actually get sold to another artist if they decided they wanted to buy the beat outright or whatever the case may be. So, like, how do you really feel about that, knowing that you're using a beat that, that could possibly get sold? Somebody could actually buy the license to it, and then you may have to, rechange the song that you did.
You're saying that if I have that beat under lease myself, then another artist can come, right? Yeah. And lease that beat, put their own song over it, right? Is that kind of what you're saying?
No, they can actually buy the beat outright. Like, what a lot of producers, what they do is they lease the beats, meaning like you may be, lease this beat, somebody else may be leased the same exact beat, and then you may have like 10 other, artists that have the same type of beat but they got different songs to it. But you could also have an artist that comes and actually buys the licensing right to that beat, so therefore now this person owns the beat outright, and then if you play it, they can kind of like get you for like, you know, copyright or for stealing the beat or whatever the case may be. Like, I wonder, like, how do, you know, artists like that, how do you feel knowing that there's a possibility that somebody could actually come and buy the beat outright, or knowing that there's other artists that use that same beat?
Yeah, as an artist, I would feel if that happened to me, right? I would feel like the song that I wrote, or, you know, and the lyrics and the voice and everything that I wrote over that beat, I would feel like it would be stripped. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I would have to, like, it would be stripped. It's like I would still have that. I would still have that song and those lyrics and that whole thing, but I would have to find another beat. You know what I'm saying? I would have to find another instrumental to use, right? And I would have to rearrange it. You know what I mean? And I'd have to go back in the studio. I could tell you right now, it would be a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? That would be a lot of work to, you know, have to do that. And then there's the whole thing of, you know, mixing and mastering and then promoting it again. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. And it's risky, you know, to answer your question in a short sentence. It's pretty risky when another artist can come and buy the beat outright, you know, and basically put your song on a shelf because they own it or whatever like that. Yeah, it's definitely risky. And, you know, ownership of the beats, that's when it's like if you compose your own beats, right? If I compose my own beat, right, it's like composing my own song. You know what I mean? It's like a craft. You know what I mean? And I could copyright that. You know what I mean? And have ownership over it. You know what I mean? But when you lease, it's true what you're saying. You bring up a good point. That's a really good point, and it's important, I think, for other artists to hear that too as well. You know. Because that can happen. That's a possibility, definitely. Hopefully it won't. I mean, if it did happen to me, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty crafty, I guess. You know, I would be able to, like, take my song and lyrics and idea and all that stuff and do something else with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'd be honest, I would go on overdrive if that happened to me, you know.
Have you ever considered, you know, like actually getting into producing your own beat, so that way you don't have to worry about the possibility of somebody coming along and purchasing the song outright?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I'm always open. I'm always open to that type of thing, and also like working with others and collaborating and that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, if like I've been so busy writing songs, you know, and composing them, that kind of thing. So my focus for so long has been on lyrics, melody, flow, rhyming, you know, that type of thing, and composing it, you know, along with an instrumental that's already been created. You know what I mean? I've been doing that for a long time, you know. So I certainly would have to switch gears a little bit and, you know, focus on that part of the craft. You know what I mean? Composing beats and that type of thing. I mean, I know people do it, you know, and I know there's a lot of good software out there, you know, and it's pretty user friendly. It's just a matter of having the time to do it, and also having the creative drive, you know what I mean, and having, you know, the inspiration to do it, and that little fire that's underneath us, you know.
I definitely understand that one. And, you know, with that being said, you know, I see, you know, in the November, you know, 2022, you put out, you know, your 3-song EP titled $3. Now, with that one right there, what was the process you took in putting that together, and what has been the response that you've gotten from people that have listened to it?
Okay, the process, I'll start with the songs, okay? There's House on the Hills on there, okay? That's my most recent track. You got Petty Cash and Making It.
Okay.
Right? Those two tracks, Petty Cash and Making It, are a little older, those tracks. Okay, but the reason I put 3 on there, okay, was because I went back in to some of my hip hop tracks, right, and I went back in to remix them and maybe to try to reinvent the vocals a little bit and try to put another spin or another vibe or sound on it, right? And those 3 songs, the effects that I used and the processing that I used seemed to work the best on those 3 songs.
Okay.
So that's why I did that. And the other thing too is kind of a concept. If you look at the artwork on it, right, you have the George Washington face in the middle, then you have a little face on the side. You know, you have this little image on the side, on each side of the George Washington face. So there's like three images there. You know what I mean? And it splits into 3 parts. The George Washington face splits into 3 parts, and that's kind of how I came up with the visual and the concept of $3. You know, and the reason I called it Dolla was just because, you know, my first stage name is Dolla. You know, Dolla Bill and stuff like that. So I just made it $3.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Like
I also see that you have, you know, another version of $3 on SoundCloud that actually features a bonus track.
Yeah, that's Bust the U-Turn.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an older track. That's actually probably the oldest one on there. Actually, it's not old, but it's older, you know, than the other tracks on there. And that's West Coast inspired. That track, right? A lot of the lyrics and stuff, and just kind of the sound. It has like a trap beat to it, and there's this flow, and the lyrics and that type of thing are very kind of West Coast. And that track actually was inspired when I first came to North Carolina. The first place I stayed in North Carolina was called the Wake Inn. The Wake Inn. That's an old motel, right? And I was looking at a house, or I was closing or something like that, right? I had to come down here from New Jersey, you know? And I come down, right, and I'm in the Wake Inn, and I'm there just a day or two, right? And when I was leaving, right, I was trying to figure out how to get to the other side of the road and head back the other way. I didn't know how to do it because down here in North Carolina, they don't have jug handles like they do up north.
Right.
Where they have traffic lights, you know, and you can switch and cross the highway and get on the other side. What they have in North Carolina are turn lanes, right? They have turn lanes where you can just signal, go to your left, and you know, and just go into a turn lane. There's no traffic light or nothing like that. As long as it's clear, you can go. You know what I'm saying? So I was at the hotel checking out, right? I was at the motel, and I was talking to the clerk. I'm like, you know, not for nothing, but how do I get to the other side of that highway over there? Because there's a median, you know? That's what I said to her, right? And there was this gentleman standing next to me, right? Right? And he had long dreads, you know? He had long dreads, and he looked at me, right? He looked over at me, and he was like, just bust a U-turn, you know? And that's where I got the inspiration for the song.
That had to have been a dead giveaway when you asked about that one, because, you know, in New Jersey they have the jug handles, and also in New Jersey, which is something I don't understand why, but, you know, they don't have left turns as well. So I'm pretty sure that was like a dead giveaway to them down there to let them know that you was from up north.
Yeah, I mean, there were three things right away that gave it, you know, it away. You know what I mean? The way I say coffee, give me a cup of coffee, you know, that was one thing that gave it away. The other thing is they thought I was in the witness protection program.
Oh, wow. What, you checked in under an assumed name or something? Like, how did they think that you was in witness protection?
But the people that live down here that are native, right? Right? They're like, you ain't from around here, are you? You know? Right? And then right away when they see you, you start talking to them, right? And they hear your accent. They know you're not from here. They know you're from up north, like you said. you know, then they start joking with you and everything, you know?
Yeah.
And it's all good. I got a joke for you here. Listen to this one. When I first came down to North Carolina, they told me I was a transplant, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was a transplant because I'm from up north, and all the people that come up down here from up north are transplants, right? Then they told me once I lived here for 6 years, I became an implant.
Oh, that's what's up, man. It's a good thing that they accepted you coming down there and everything like that. That's cool. That's cool. I hear the hospitality is real good down in the South.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Like, you know, like where I'm living now, like down here, you know, it's getting very crowded down here now. You know, a lot of people come down here. And I've seen a lot of things change, you know, over the last, you know, 13 years or whatnot. I've seen, you know, there's been a lot more building and development and, you know, things like that, a lot more jobs. There's a lot more businesses, you know, there's a lot of things. I mean, where I'm living right now, you know, the place I'm living in right now, where I'm sitting, used to be a farm, you know. It was like woods or a farm like 6 years ago, you know, 7 years ago, or whatever. You know, so it's like, you know, but like I said, I got into the hip hop rap genre down here, though. I have to credit North Carolina with my roots when it comes to that.
Okay.
Definitely. You know?
Much respect to North Carolina. Like I said, I hear it's a very great state. I've only been there a couple of times just passing through, even though I do have family that lives in North Carolina around the Charlotte area. But, you know, like I said, it's something that, you know, is not off of the table when it comes to, you know, considering relocation and stuff like that. Because, you know, people are fleeing New York, New Jersey by the droves, you know, especially with the way things is changing from cost of living to everything else that's happening up here as well. So that's definitely a place I would definitely consider. But when it comes down to it with your music, and, you know, when it gets to it, like, what do you want the people to take away from your music when they hear it?
Yeah, I definitely want listeners to not only vibe with the beat or the instrumental, that type of thing, but I want them to get some kind of a reaction from the lyrics as well. You know, it's either lyrics that, you know, they can relate to, right? Or it's the lyrics that they just laugh at, you know what I mean? That they get a laugh at, that they kick at, like, where'd this guy get this from, you know, type of thing. You know, like invoking some kind of, you know, reaction or invoking like the senses somehow, you know,
I got
that
you.
kind of thing.
So,
and
go ahead.
And the thing, I was just going to say, like, you know, and a lot of the songs like have different cover art. You know what I mean? Had different cover art for pretty much every song. And I think the cover art really kind of invites the listener into the song. You know what I mean? Because it strikes kind of a curiosity, like, wow, this is cool artwork. You know, let me check out this song. Let me listen to it. You know.
Now,
so there's like visual and listening going on. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, you know, you just put out your 3-song EP, $3 back in November. So what is going to, you know, what can we expect going forward? Like, what's next for you here in 2023?
Well, something came up just the other day regarding, I wasn't really expecting it, but I have other music out there as well. You know, I have singer-songwriter tracks, have some rock tracks on my other Spotify page, which is Will Francis on Spotify, and YouTube. I have them on YouTube and also SoundCloud. But anyway, there's a song that was just approved for radio promotion.
Okay.
And it's called She Got Game, you know, and it's like a rock track. You know, and just found out the other day it was approved for radio promotion. So I might be doing a radio thing with that, you know, like a radio promotion with that song.
Oh, nice.
You know, because you know why? Because the reason why is that the A&R person, you know, that I've been talking to, that I've been sending music to and everything, they're pretty selective. You know what I mean? They're pretty selective about the music that they play on radio, you know? So even though it's good, it might be good for playlists, it might be good for, you know, like, you know, social media or streaming and that kind of thing. It's not always radio friendly, you know what I mean?
Got you.
Or type of thing. So they tend to be kind of selective. So that's the most recent thing that I got going on right now going forward with the music. Now, what I'm hoping for here with this campaign that I'm doing now with the hip hop music and these songs is that I hope it creates some opportunities for me. Maybe opens a door or gives me the opportunity to improve my craft, improve what I'm doing, because I write, I record, I produce, and mix and stuff like that. So I'm always getting feedback, and I've subjected a lot of my songs recently to feedback, and I've gotten a lot of good feedback, especially on those two, Petty Cash on the EP. When I put that new vocal on it, right, on the EP, I got some good feedback on that. And one of the comments that I got on it was, they thought that the song actually sounded diabolical, because of the sound, because of the voice, and everything like that. And it just kind of has a harder edge, you know what I'm saying? It has a harder edge with the vocal processing as opposed to the original version, which is more of a natural sounding voice, But when you run it through a little processing though, or whatever, and you tweak it, I mean, that's what I was talking about before, about kind of creating another sound or reinventing the sound of the vocals and that kind of thing. But anyway, I'm hoping, like I said, with this campaign, definitely, for anybody or everybody that's listening, just to absorb, just kind of take in and absorb the music and enjoy it, and, get something out of it, get some kind of vibe or energy from it.
So now, with that being said, for the people out there that's listening that would like to, hear more of your music, that would like to invite you to their platform, or even just get in contact with you just to follow you and even have a conversation with you, how can they make that possible?
Yeah, the best way, let me see. You can go to Will Francis, Dolla Bill, that's SoundCloud. You go there. You can leave messages there. You can, you can listen to music there. Trying to think of another way, the best way. My best way right now is Walking Down 12. That's my Twitter account. Yeah, that's a good account. I got a lot of music on there right now too. Twitter's probably the best way because you can message on there. I also have WhatsApp too, and my Gmail, which is robinwill05@gmail.com.
Gotcha.
That's just my direct email right there. Let's see. So and also YouTube. I have 2 pages on YouTube. I got singer-songwriter music on one page and hip-hop videos and stuff like that on the other page. And that's at Will Francis YouTube and at William Francis. At William Francis. That's my full name.
Got you.
That's YouTube.
Got you. Well, man, we definitely want to say, thank you to you once again for taking the time out to, call into the show and to be our guest here tonight. We definitely do appreciate you. We definitely enjoyed the conversation. And in closing, before we get ready to get up out of here, do you have any shout outs or any last words for anybody out there that's listening right now?
Any shout outs? Just a quick shout out to, West Milford, New Jersey, Clifton, New Jersey, Raleigh, North Carolina, and of course, Clayton, North Carolina. And I'll leave you with I'll leave you with the first couple verses of my House on the Hill. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do a little freestyle in here if I can.
Okay, go ahead, take it away, man.
Let me see what I got. Post. Girl, I've been missing you. Have you been feeling it too? If you want to still see it through, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Get you that house on the hill. Gonna get you that house on the hill. Baby, get you that house on the hill. Get you that house where we can chill. Remember when we had no one, the struggle was real. We were under a machine gun. The bill collector had me on the run. The rent was due, had a peanut butter sandwich on a hamburger bun. When it was about to come undone, I realized you were that special someone. Get you that house. Gonna get you a house. Get you a house. Gonna get you that house on the hill. Gonna get you that house on the hill. Gonna get you that house on the hill. Get you that house where we can chill.
Hey, my man. Thank you for that freestyle, man. We definitely appreciate it, man. Definitely respect to you and to everybody else out there listening right now. And to the people that are tuned in and listening right now, definitely keep it locked and stay tuned. We're about to get into this single from Dolla Bill called House on the Hill up next here on the show. So keep it locked. It's your boy Emilio Wackbar, and we'll be back with much more right after this.
Girl, I've been missing you. Have you been feeling it too? If you wanna still see it through, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Get you that house on the hill. Oh, get you that house on the hill. Baby, get you that house on the hill. Get you that house where we can chill. Remember when we had no one, the struggle was real. We were under a machine gun. The bill collector had me on the run. The rent was due, had a peanut butter sandwich on a hamburger bun. When it was about to come undone, I realized you were that special someone.